Hello everyone, it's a brand new month, so you know what time it is. I'm gonna give you my top 10 first time watches of the previous month, which was January. So let's go. Number 10, Green Room. I've heard a lot of good things about this movie, and it lived up to the hype. It's brutal, it's bloody, and it's just a touch over 90 minutes, so it flies by. I've never seen Patrick Stewart play such an evil character, but he was great in this. Our main group of characters try their hardest to get out of their sticky situation, and spoiler, there are some shocking deaths in this. Our main character, Pat, sounded really familiar, and that's because he's Clumsy Smurf from the live-action Smurf movies, so that was a nice surprise. But I also didn't know that Anton Yelchin passed away like a decade ago, and that made me pretty sad, so rest in peace. After the movie ended, I did feel like I wanted a little bit more from it, but it's totally okay because it's a very solid horror thriller, and it's just 90 minutes of intensity, and the final few minutes are great. Number 9, A Haunting in Venice. In January, I watched all 3 of Kenneth Branagh's murder mystery movies, where he plays Hercule Poirot, and I had a great time with them. They aren't the best, but I love a good mystery, and A Haunting in Venice is the best of the 3 in my opinion. The cast for all 3 movies are great, and Kenneth Branagh's French accent is like the cherry on top of all of it. A Haunting in Venice sort of pairs him up with Tina Fey, and I love their dynamic. It has a bit of a supernatural element to it, so outside of trying to figure out the usual whodunit, there are several spooks scattered throughout as well. I'm still sort of sitting with this movie though, because I think I like bits and pieces from the other 2 movies more, but for some reason this third movie just felt more complete. But if Branagh keeps on pumping movies like these out every other year or so, I will be seated for each and every one of them. Number 8, Companion. The first 2025 release that I've seen so far this year, and I saw it opening day, and I thought Companion was absolutely fantastic. I'll always love a good horror comedy, and this was just that. Another movie that flies by, and I never felt bored while watching it. Jack Quaid was great, but Sophie Thatcher, she's the star of the show. Her acting was top-notch, and her facial expressions were just perfect. However, I would have loved this way more if I went in not knowing anything. The first trailer we got was a bit weird, but you sort of knew the vibe of the movie without knowing exactly what was gonna happen. Then the second trailer released, and it revealed a lot more. While it didn't ruin my experience by any means, I would have looked at the first 15 minutes of this movie completely different if I didn't know about Iris's background. It's slightly similar to horror movies that have come out recently, but it's different enough to where it feels like it has its own identity, which I feel like is a tough thing to do, but it achieves everything it tries, and Companion just really worked for me. It's a lot of fun. Go see it. Number 7, The Imitation Game. Benedict Cumberbatch, ladies and gentlemen. The Imitation Game was never really on my radar, but my friend wanted to watch it, so I gave it a go. It's so weird because it's not a movie I would usually care for, but the acting is so good and the characters really interested me. I mainly know Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, and seeing him in this role really made me a bigger fan of his work. Same for Keira Knightley, who I really only knew as Elizabeth Swann from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I want to go and watch all of their movies now because they are so damn talented. Alan Turing is such a layered character, and the more that the movie goes on, the more I care about his story. The ending really crushed me. Maybe this made the top 10 because of somewhat low expectations, but regardless, I'm glad I watched this movie. Number 6, No Country for Old Men. No Country for Old Men kicked so much ass. I love Josh Brolin and Tommy Lee Jones, so I knew I was going to be into this. I'm not too familiar with Javier Bardem, but damn, he was perfect in this. Super terrifying just knowing how dangerous Anton is, the way he's always coming after you, and the way he presents himself, the way he talks as well. 100% the highlight of the movie, but I know I'm late to the party. The story was very interesting, but here's where I'm probably gonna be that guy. The ending is what keeps it from being perfect in my opinion. I'm pretty sure I understand what the whole point was, but I was just so invested in Josh Brolin's character, I wanted to see him go all the way to the end and have like a proper ending. Also a bit more Tommy Lee Jones would have helped, but Woody Harrelson was a nice bonus. Still, even though I'm not a fan of the way things ended in this movie, the first 90% of it is just peak. Number 5, The Big Sick. Kumail Nanjiani makes every movie he's in better, so when I saw that he was in a leading role, I had to check it out. The Big Sick is a great rom-com that went in a direction that I did not expect. I should have figured it out because of the title, but my brain just didn't put the pieces together. I loved the story and the characters. It's always good to see Ray Romano, and this was my first time seeing Holly Hunter outside of The Incredibles. There are so many beautiful ups and downs, and I think this might be the most serious I've ever seen Kumail in a project. It makes it even better that it's somewhat based off a true story between he and his wife. It's such a feel-good movie, and it also helps that it's really funny as well. Number 4, Parasite. Another one where I know I'm late to the party, but oh my god. Parasite was fantastic. I don't think I've ever seen a movie like this. Every other scene or moment, I'm just saying under my breath, no way. I sort of love this family just lying their way to the top, and they're just getting away with it the whole time. So many people have given Parasite praise, and I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. Everyone in this plays their role extremely well, and the birthday party ending is perfectly chaotic. Also at the very end, where Ki-woo is talking to his dad, is just incredible because it's this insane plan that he's talking about, but hell, he's done crazy shit before. While I did love the movie, I'm not as crazy about it as a lot of other people are. I didn't really get too attached to any of the characters, but I still enjoyed the ride. Number 3, American Fiction. It seems like I was trying to catch up on some Oscar-winning movies, and now we have American Fiction. It's very funny, and Jeffrey Wright is such a great leading man. Another movie where it feels like something I haven't seen before. There's so much heartbreak in this movie, but yet it still made me laugh a bunch. Every interaction with Monk and Arthur was great. Monk's family as well was a highlight. Sterling K. Brown killed every scene he was in. I love it when an interesting story also has very interesting characters. Also, Keith David is in this thing for a few minutes, and it's always great when he pops up in something. Number 2, Look Back. It's only an hour long, but Look Back was absolutely soul-crushing. I watched this at like 4 a.m. on a Sunday, and it took a while for me to recover. It's crazy that in such a short amount of time, we see so many years of Fujino and Kayamoto's friendship go by. I really like the scene where they first meet, and then there's the montage of them working on their manga together. In like 30 minutes, you already fall in love with these characters and their bond, but then you just get hit by a truck. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but oh my god. Then just to add more to the damage, you see the what could have been side of things, and it just tears you apart. I'm not super into anime or anything like that, but this movie looks great, it is great, it's on Amazon Prime, I believe. Go and check it out if you haven't seen it. Like I said, it's only an hour, it won't take much of your time, and just be ready to feel things, man. Number 1, Air. I'm not a shoe guy, I'm not even a sports guy. But for some reason, when I saw the trailer for this movie back in 2023, I really wanted to see this thing. Well, about a year and a half later, I finally watched Air, and it was exactly what I wanted. There's a few based on a true story movies on this list, so I guess that's just what was fueling me throughout January. Air was so great, and it has an all-star cast. Matt Damon, who ended up being my most watched actor of 2024, Jason Bateman, Chris Tucker, Ben Affleck, and Viola Davis, they all were great, and then there's Chris Messina. Every phone call between Falk and Sonny was damn entertaining. Falk losing his shit was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
I will eat your fucking nuts! You know what? I'm sick of your shit.
Everyone that's a part of this movie is so talented, and maybe I'm just not looking in the right places, but I really wish more people would talk about this movie. And there you go, that's my top 10 first-time watches of the month of January. First month of 2025, already finished. We're now in February. More videos coming out, more movies to watch. Let me know in the comments which movies you watched last month that you just absolutely loved. My little award show that I'm going to be doing, the mini Oscars or whatever I end up calling it, will be coming out shortly, either this weekend or next, so I hope you're ready for that. But I just got back from vacation and I wanted to make sure I got my January recap video out there for you guys, and I did it, yippee. So I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.